What's up? I am on Pro Football Network's mock draft simulator. So, the NFL draft is coming up a lot quicker than I think we all thought. The NFL draft starts, I think it's late April. I think it's April 29th to May 1st. So it's in about 3 or so months. And Super Bowl is in 2 weeks. It is Chiefs Buccaneers. That obviously happened on Sunday. And the championship games happened on Sunday. So this is assuming I think they have it that the Chiefs are winning, but it wouldn't really affect this mock draft that much. All the trades that were originally in the NFL happened. So yeah, as you can see, like Miami has pick 3, and Miami also has their pick. It's only one round, but I am very excited for this. You can see kind of my take on all these picks. The first pick in the draft goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Without any question, they're going Trevor Lawrence. There is no one else they should consider here. I made a very weird noise with my body. I don't know if you could hear that. But I'm not going to elaborate on the first pick. That's just the clear-cut first overall pick. Second overall, though, New York could go a few ways. I think they should narrow it down to 3 players. And obviously, I'm going to pick one of these 3 players. Conveniently listed 2, 3, and 4. If they think that Darnold is the guy, go Penei Sewell. Or even if you think that Fields and Wilson aren't the guy. And obviously, it's way too early to take Trey Lance. I think they could definitely go Sewell, but I'm going to take a quarterback here. I'm going to say, screw Sam. We're going to just get some value for him while we can. Maybe they can get like a 3rd round pick for Darnold to a team like, I don't know. But, yeah, and it's then between Wilson and Fields. And I'm going to take Justin Fields. And I know Wilson was more of the surprise here, but Fields was excellent in his game against, oh my god. I don't pay attention to college football at all. Against Clemson, right? Right? Yeah. Yeah, and then obviously the national championship. He wasn't incredible, but he's still obviously a top 5 player in this class. Moving on to pick 3. It is between 2 guys. I held up 3 fingers in real life. You couldn't see that. But it's between 2 guys. No, you could say 3 guys. Penei Sewell, Ja'Marr Chase, and Devonta Smith. Penei Sewell is the clear pick here. He should be. And honestly, if I was Miami, I would go Penei Sewell. But here's where this gets interesting. Mock drafts aren't about what I personally would do with their front office. A mock draft is kind of what I think they will do, not what I would do for them. In that case, I'm taking Devonta Smith. Now, it's a little bit of a surprise here, but Tua Tagovailoa, if they don't end up trading him, has not looked good. But pair him up with a guy he already has some chemistry with, and boom, you're gonna be in business. You're gonna be set for a long time with your quarterback of the future, and now your number 1 wide receiver, because I don't think Devontae Parker's a number 1 receiver on a contending team. So that is my reasoning there, and that leaves Atlanta here to go with Zach Wilson, their eventual replacement to Matt Ryan. Zach Wilson's a really fun player to watch. I think he'll kind of be like, who's a good example of this? Kind of like Rodgers and Favre, except obviously Zach Wilson will not be as good as Rodgers, assuming that he isn't the next Rodgers, and Matt Ryan isn't as good as Favre was. But Wilson can sit on the bench, at least for this year. I'm hoping that it's not a situation like Jordan Love was put in, where he's going to be behind Rodgers, assuming he doesn't retire. Which, what is going on with that? But Jordan Love is, if assuming Rodgers doesn't retire, Jordan Love's going to be behind Rodgers for 4 or 5 years, maybe 3. And sure, you'll learn everything he does right, and you're behind a very good quarterback. But I think this situation will be a lot better because Ryan only probably has 2 or 3 years left in him of real production. I feel like in about 2 years, about 2023, he's going to be kind of where like Phillip Rivers was this year, except a little bit lower down on the QBR. But yeah, he won't play right away. He will probably come off the bench, assuming nothing immediately changes and they don't trade Matt Ryan or end up starting Wilson year 1, which I don't think would be a good move. Then the Bengals at 5, Penei Sewell. Protect Burrow. That's all they really got to do in this draft. He has no time to throw. That's the main reason he missed the end of the year, because he got rocked. Because his offensive line was like revolving doors into a hotel. Now, I'm going to go for Philadelphia here, Ja'Marr Chase. He, in my opinion, is the best receiver in the class, but I feel like the Heisman would kind of be more appealing to Miami, and the fact that he actually played this year. Ja'Marr Chase didn't play. Of course, he opted out. That is a clear pick here. One of the better receivers I've personally watched. Ja'Marr Chase is awesome. Now, Detroit is a very weird selection here. So, I'm doing this, obviously, even before the Pro Bowl. I'm recording this on the 25th of January. Matthew Stafford requested a trade, and he probably will get traded. But I'm doing this before free agency. I'm going to do another one after free agency, which will probably be a little bit more accurate. But assuming that the teams stay the same, I'm going Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle is an awesome wide receiver. He is obviously a top 3 wide receiver in the class, along with Chase and Smith. And I personally think if Stafford stayed, those two could really have a connection. But he's not going to stay. So whoever's their quarterback next year, Jalen Waddle will be awesome for him. Marvin Jones is as good as gone. I can't see why he would want to come back to Detroit. And Galladay, he's kind of up in the air, but Jones and Galladay they're both free agents. So you got to get a replacement for at least Marvin Jones. These next 4 picks are kind of where it gets sticky, because these 3 teams might take corner. The Giants will take anyone they can get. But it's more the Panthers pick that's really bothering me. I'm unlike a lot of people. I think Teddy Bridgewater was actually decent this year. Watching him play, I watched a few Panthers games. He was not bad. So I'm not going to give them quarterback here. I'm going to have Trey Lance fall a little bit. I just spit everywhere. Oh my god. I'm in between Caleb Farley and Micah Parsons here, because they don't need Kwity Paye. Kyle Pitts would also be kind of cool, but I think they have more of a need on the defensive side of the ball. And I'm going to give them Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech. Very good corner. They desperately need it. They need a partner with Dante Jackson. And now we have Denver. So, Denver could go a couple directions. They could take Kwity Paye and have an awesome rushing trio in Kwity Paye, Von Miller, and Bradley Chubb. That would be basically unstoppable. Or they could go Patrick Surtain and try to get a little bit younger out there. I'm going to give them Kwity Paye. I think that pass rush could be like out of this world. They could maybe push for like 8 or 9 wins if Miller stays healthy, if their quarterback is competent enough and not Drew Lock. Now, I'm not going to give him Trey Lance because that's not their biggest need. And I don't think edge is their biggest need either, but I think they kind of just have to go best player available for them, and I think Kwity Paye would fit very nicely. And then Patrick Surtain goes with the Cowboys. They really need a corner because their number one is Chidobe Awuzie, who's not bad, but you lost Byron Jones in free agency. You need a corner. Giants at 11. Micah Parsons was my dream player. I am a Giants fan. We need a linebacker. Blake Martinez was great, but we kind of need a linebacker who can do a little bit of everything. Micah Parsons, he's competent covering. He can also rush the passer. We can play him actually anywhere, from like left outside linebacker to middle linebacker to right outside linebacker. We can play him anywhere. He can get the mic if he wants to. He can get the will if he wants to. So I think that's an awesome pick for him. The Giants needed two things: wide receiver and edge. And Kwity Paye would have been awesome, but I had him going to Denver. And the way I do mock drafts, I don't plan it out like, oh, this team is taking him, so the team before him has to take someone else. I take the player for the team that's up, and then if the next team wanted him, too bad. Now we have San Francisco. They're kind of in a weird situation because their defensive line is awesome. It would have been better with DeForest Buckner if they didn't just swap him for Javon Kinlaw. So they don't need a D lineman. They kind of need a linebacker because outside of Fred Warner, who do they have, like Dre Greenlaw? They don't have anyone crazy. They could use a corner. Let me just check what this thing says. They could use QB. I'm not going to give them a QB. Guard, which you could go like Elijah Vera Tucker maybe, but I'm going to give him Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Linebacker out of Notre Dame. He was pretty good this year. He was very good this year. Obviously, he's a top 15 pick. I don't really have too much more to say about that. I think he can fit in right next to Fred Warner, and then the Niners can probably push for a playoff spot because injuries killed their team. They'll probably do a lot better this year. Now, I'm going to go back-to-back tackles here. I'm going to have the Chargers take Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern, and then the Vikings are taking Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech. So 2 Virginia Tech guys going top 15. That's awesome. I'm not a Virginia Tech fan. I just thought that was cool. And both teams in O-line. I don't really think there's more to say there. These are 2 of the best offensive linemen in the class, especially Rashawn Slater. He's awesome. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Giants take him at 11. There's not really too much more to say there. They just need O-linemen. 2 of the best are there. Why not take him? New England at 15, in case you can't see my mouse, I'm taking Kyle Pitts over Trey Lance. That might be a really controversial pick, except Cam Newton has potential to be okay. And he was really bad this year. Don't think that I'm complimenting Cam on how he played. He was really bad. But who did he have around him? He had half an offensive line because I don't remember if they got hurt or opted out, but David Andrews, Marcus Cannon, I think Isaiah Wynn was out for a little bit, but he had Joe Thuney and Shaq Mason. Those were his only real offensive linemen, unless I'm forgetting someone. I don't think I am. His tight end was Devin Asiasi. That's probably not going to cut it in the big leagues. His wide receivers, Julian Edelman was not good this year. Obviously, he was hurt. They had Jacoby Myers, who was all right. Damiere Byrd, who was not great. They didn't really have anyone that Cam Newton could throw to. And I know he wasn't the best passing quarterback to start with, but he plays quarterback. He's got to throw the ball sometimes. So, excuse me. I know Kyle Pitts would have been awesome for Arizona, but remember what I said. I don't care who's below. If a team wants someone and the team below him also wants someone, guess who's going to get him? The first team that wants him. And now we have Arizona. I just said that Kyle Pitts would have been awesome for him. He really would have. Huh. I think I'm probably going to give him an edge. I know they have Chandler Jones. Isaiah Simmons can't play edge. Yeah, Isaiah Simmons is a safety. He was not amazing this year. He showed flashes of being great. I loved him coming out of this draft, but now it's kind of between Azeez Ojulari, who obviously plays for my Jets and the franchise. If you haven't watched that, go watch it right now. And Gregory Rousseau, who's more of a defensive lineman. I love Gregory Rousseau. He fell off, but he was originally, I remember when he was probably like around here. I mocked him to the Bengals a few times. I'm actually going to go Gregory Rousseau out of Miami, Florida, in case Miami, Ohio produced a good player Miami, Ohio is not a great school for football, is it? I don't want to just say stuff. I'm sorry if you like Miami, Ohio. Vegas. It says they need safety, corner, yeah. J.C. Horn could be cool. I might give him J.C. Horn. Yeah, I'm going to give him J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. Who did they take last year? They took a corner. Was it Damon Arnett? Did they take Damon Arnett? Hey Siri, what team does Damon Arnett play for?
Currently, Damon Arnett plays for the Raiders.
Yep. Yeah, he was not a good pick, to say the least. And they also have Trayvon Mullen, I think. So they have a bunch of young corners, but they weren't good. So why not add another one to that young group? I was thinking Azeez Ojulari here, maybe, but I think corner is a bigger need than edge. They have Cleveland Farrell. They have Maurice Hurst. Who's the other guy I'm forgetting? Max Crosby. They signed Corey Littleton. It's an all right unit. Now, Miami here, we already gave him wide receiver. Could use an offensive lineman, but this class is really deep. Now, I don't think... I think this is all right. It's an all right region for Elijah Vera Tucker. I think I'm going to give them Najee Harris, the first running back off the board, out of Alabama. And he will join back up with Devonta Smith and Tua Tagovailoa. That's awesome. So, football team, Trey Lance. I kind of planned this out, but I didn't really, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. This is a match made in heaven. If the football team can get a quarterback other than Mac Jones, who is ungodly overrated in the first round, that's awesome. Like, the first three guys, Lawrence, Wilson, and Fields, they're not going to be there. Trey Lance is the next best guy. Alex Smith has 1 year left on his deal after this year. After this season that he just played, I think he has one more. He's not going to cut it. He was good, don't get me wrong, but he's not going to lead you guys to the Super Bowl. Depends on how Trey Lance develops, because I don't know, we've seen other North Dakota State quarterbacks become MVP. I can't talk right now. MVP candidates. In case you don't know who I'm talking about, Carson Wentz. And I'm hoping he doesn't have the same fate as Carson Wentz, because he sucked this year. Chicago at 20. Assuming A-Rob, well, not assuming, because it really doesn't matter, I'm going to give them Rashad Bateman. I thought I misclicked, but I did give them Rashad Bateman. Bateman is a very good receiver out of Minnesota. And if A-Rob leaves, big need right there. If A-Rob stays, still a big need, because Anthony Miller is not good. Darnell Mooney, sure, but he's more of like, he shouldn't be your number 2 wide receiver. He should be like a 3 or a 4. So that is the reasoning for Chicago. Now moving on to Indy. I guess could take a quarterback, but would they really take Mac Jones here? Maybe, but I don't think I'm going to give him Mac Jones. Jacoby Brissett was not bad. Was not great, but I'm going to give him Azeez Ojulari. Falls a little bit. Not a horrible place for him. Now we have Tennessee. Azeez would have been perfect here for him. Joseph Osai, he's ranked a little high here. I personally think if I go to defense and edge, I personally think Jason Owe is a little bit better than him. I think Carlos Basham might be a little bit better than him. Patrick Jones is a great pick in the second round too. But I'm only doing one round, so he won't get drafted. Christian Barmore, I think, is the clear pick here. A great defensive tackle out of Alabama. Can provide some pressure, can stop the run. He can kind of be like the Jarrell Casey of that team. I know they lost him 1 or 2 years ago. I think he signed with Denver, maybe? Yeah. Now, one of the gaping holes for the Jets is running back because Ty Johnson and Frank Gore are not going to cut it. So Travis Etienne. If they hadn't picked one, they would have had the backfield of Lawrence and Etienne. But they decided to beat the Browns and Rams somehow. So they're going to land Travis Etienne and pair him up with Justin Fields. Moving on to Pittsburgh. This is a really weird pick because I think a quarterback would be really beneficial for him here. But I think you have a bigger need at offensive line because Marquise Pouncey announced to his teammates at least that he's going to retire. It's not official. But on the inside, you have DeCastro, one of the best guards in football. You have a hole at center. I don't think Matt Filer or is it Devin Dotson? Kevin Dotson. Devin Dotson plays for he's a rookie out of Kansas for the NBA. It's not NFL. They're not really going to cut it. So I think Elijah Vera Tucker, he's listed as tackle. He's more of an inside guy, I think. I didn't watch any USC games this year. I don't really know. But I know I did watch a little bit of how he plays. I think he plays a little bit more like a guard than a tackle. Kind of like Penei Sewell. I don't think he's going to be built as a tackle in the NFL. Now we have Jacksonville. They already took quarterback. They could take what's his name, Pat Freiermuth here, I guess, but he's more of a second round guy. If a tight end's not like out of this world, I don't think you should take him first round. What do they do here? I'm thinking probably edge. I'm thinking, yeah, probably edge. Nah, you know what? I think I'm gonna give them Tevin Jenkins out of OK State. That's a short name for Oklahoma State. Tevin Jenkins is really underrated. He is a clear first round tackle. Really provided that just solid. I really don't know what I'm trying to say, but he was just a really solid tackle. Really didn't let anyone up. Was great in the run. Was great in the pass. And I personally think he's a more talented player than Leatherwood and Cosmi are. So now Cleveland needs nothing on offense. They don't desperately need secondary. Maybe a safety. Trayvon Moehrig would be kind of cool. D-line, I guess, because you're going to lose Larry Ogunjobi in free agency. But linebacker is kind of the more glaring hole, and I think Zaven Collins out of Tulsa, probably the smart pick here. So I made a mistake trying to explain my pick for these next three, so you can see who I took there. But I'm giving the Ravens Terrace Marshall out of LSU. He's kind of a big guy. Lamar doesn't really need the fastest of guys. He needs a guy who can just be a reliable target, doesn't have to run some crazy deep route, can run like a post, and just catch like a 20-yard pass from Lamar at like max. And I'm not saying Lamar has a noodle arm. I'm not at all. Lamar is a very talented quarterback, but he doesn't need another Hollywood. He needs more of a Julio. No, I don't think Terrace Marshall's going to be as good as Julio. But I think he could be probably like I don't know, a really good comparison, but I think he could be more of just like a sit in the middle of the field, Lamar needs anything, reliable target. Now, you didn't see this, but I was talking about Nick Bolton. He's a pretty good linebacker out of Missouri. If you switched him and Collins for Cleveland and New Orleans, I wouldn't be mad. They're pretty, not like switchable players, but like, you get what I'm saying? Like, if you put Bolden at 26 and Collins at 28, that's fine. And then Kadarius Toney. For Green Bay, you kind of need a replacement over Marquez Valdes-Scantling and what's his name, Allen Lazard. Neither of them played very well in the playoffs. Kadarius Toney's a very good wide receiver. Oh, they're not giving scouting reports. That's all right. Kadarius Toney is a very good wide receiver out of Florida. I personally think he is better than Terrace Marshall, but Marshall kind of fit Baltimore a little bit better. I think Toney fits Green Bay a little bit better. Rodgers has a crazy arm. Toney is a faster guy. He can run down the field. He can get those bombs. He can kind of be like, I don't want to say Tyreek Hill, but he can kind of play a little bit like Tyreek Hill, but obviously a little bit more physical. Now Buffalo is an interesting one. Like most teams, it's a very interesting pick. They could go defense. They could go offense. I think I'm going to give them probably Sam Cosmi here. Yeah, I like Sam Cosmi a little bit more than Leatherwood. Cosmi is a very reliable tackle. And tackle isn't their biggest need, but they have Deion Dawkins at the left tackle. Cosmi can probably play right, or you can move Dawkins to the right tackle. I guess you could play... Excuse me again, oh my god. I guess you could play one of them at guard, but real life doesn't work as well as Madden when it comes to moving around offensive linemen. It just doesn't. Now, wrapping up this draft, you have Tampa Bay and Kansas City. Tampa Bay needs actually nothing. I was looking at their depth chart earlier. It says they need an edge and D-tackle. Like, that's kind of a stretch, but that is what they need, I guess. I'm going to give them Jason Oweh out of Penn State. There we go. He was a very good player. I watched a little bit of Penn State. I do like some players that come out of Penn State. My favorite player in the league currently, Saquon Barkley, obviously. And the new giant in this mock draft, Micah Parsons. His teammate Jason Oweh is going to the Buccaneers here. And now you have Kansas City. I don't really know what you do here if you're Kansas City. A lot of these things say they need receiver. They don't. Why do they need receiver? They have Tyreek Hill, one of the best in football. Mahomes doesn't need a big target. You have Kelsey. You don't need another receiver. I think I'm going to give them Alex Leatherwood, probably. Or Wyatt Davis. No, I'm going to give them Leatherwood because... Oh, okay. Here it is. Alex Leatherwood can play on the other side of the offensive line than Mitchell Schwartz, who is a great player. Eric Fisher just, I think, tore his Achilles. He's probably going to be gone if he's a free agent. Maybe you could slide Leatherwood somewhere else, but I think if you're Kansas City, you just signed Mahomes to the biggest contract. Was it sports history or football history? I don't remember. I think it was the first $500 million contract in sports history. But your priority should be protecting Pat Mahomes at all costs. Leatherwood's a very good tackle. He could have gone 30. You could have given Cosmi to the Chiefs. But that is going to do it. Again, if you want to see who your favorite team picked, if you skipped ahead in the video or something, there it is. If you made it this way through, comment draft day down in the comments, and I will like your comment, and that'll make me really know that you watched this video. I appreciate you if you did. Thanks for watching. As always, I will see you in the next one.